From the smallest speck of the universe to the most distant galaxy, everything depends on the breath you take here today. Chosen one, your destiny is not an ordinary journey. It is a sacred story in which every atom vibrates and the stars change their orbits. The entire realm of existence is waiting for you to step into it. It is being reshaped by you. When the light within you is activated, invisible chains are untied, locked doors are opened, and the entire universe makes a new beginning with you. No obstacle can hold your destiny in its hands. Immediately write 111 in the comments because the destiny of the universe is being rewritten with your awakening. If you are here today, it is no coincidence. It is the echo of a divine invitation. Like a humble seed bursting through concrete, a force so persistent it splits stone. The rise of your spirit can't be hemmed in by any boundary set by human hands. While others spent years laying out blueprints for how things ought to go, drawing up fences and maps to control every drop, you showed up like a spring that no drought could stop. The self-appointed gatekeepers who once thought they held the keys to power, who built their castles around shallow pools, now find themselves scrambling as your presence turns the ground beneath them to living, shifting earth. Their authority, once so intimidating in the stillness, dissolves when confronted by a joy and conviction that can't be manufactured or suppressed. The rules they swore by become like chalk in the rain, washing away with every honest word that flows from your soul. Where they once manipulated tides for their own advantage, now they're caught in a movement they can't predict and can't control, swept along by a goodness so constant it wears down every wall. The foundation of their order, built on fear and cleverness, starts to crack, not with spectacle, but with the quiet, patient surge of something real. It isn't the noise of drama that upends their empires, but the unshakable presence of a soul at peace with itself. This force isn't here to destroy, but to clear away the debris, to make room for living water that refreshes everyone brave enough to let go. In the presence of what you carry, manipulation loses its magnetism, and pretenders drop their masks, suddenly aware that the old roles don't fit anymore. The dignity you move with becomes a floodplain for renewal, allowing dry hearts to drink deep, washing away yesterday's limitations. You don't need to raise your voice or wave your arms to bring about change. Like rain steadily softening the hardest clay, your persistence wears down resistance in ways that sermons and speeches never could. The boundaries set up by fear dissolve before the gentle but relentless movement of your kindness. Old cycles, once enforced with iron certainty, now break apart, their momentum spent against the shore of your compassion. The ones who clung to control find themselves invited to a new way, one where humility and openness are the only safe harbors. You embody a freedom that makes others question the value of their chains, not by attacking what's broken, but by offering an alternative so alive, so generous, that the thought of going back to smallness becomes unbearable. People start to remember what it's like to trust, to hope, to belong. The safe routines that propped up empty authority start to feel suffocating, and a hunger grows for something honest, something sacred that doesn't need permission from anyone. When you walk in, the air changes. Even those most invested in the old way can sense the shift, like animals before a coming rain. They may resist, they may argue, but somewhere deep down, they know they're being offered a chance to let go of struggle and step into ease. Your presence isn't a storm come to uproot lives, but a promise of new growth after the fields have lain fallow. The ones who open their hands discover blessings that were waiting beneath the surface all along. You don't just disrupt, you invite transformation. Where there was scarcity, suddenly abundance trickles in, slow at first, then all at once. Those who used to compete for scraps find themselves gathered at a table overflowing with provision. Laughter where there was suspicion, song where there was silence. The old champions of control, if they are willing, find themselves part of a greater story, one in which their gifts are redeemed for the good of all. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom. For you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. In a world that taught everyone to stay in their lane, you are the gentle flood that sweeps the boundaries aside. Not for chaos, but for connection. Not for destruction, but for the kind of flourishing that comes when no one is left thirsty, no dream is left in the dust. The force you carry is the answer to prayers whispered in the night, the fulfillment of longings too deep for words. As your river rises, the whole landscape is transformed, and every weary traveler finds rest beside the waters of renewal. And through it all, you remain rooted, unshaken, generous, steadfast. The world may try to build new dams to resurrect old fears, but the current you carry has learned the wisdom of patience. Over time, even the toughest walls surrender to love that refuses to give up. The journey is never about washing anyone away. It's about making a way where there was none, bringing forth fruit where the soil was declared barren. In your presence, every heart, no matter how long it has been locked away, has the chance to soften, to open, to be made new. Moving through life is a bit like watching a lighthouse cut through the fog, guiding ships both lost and sure towards safe harbor. Just as the sun gently rolls over the horizon, dissolving the chill of the night, your arrival brings a quiet but undeniable warmth, shifting the entire atmosphere wherever you go. It's never a fanfare or spectacle, more like the way daylight naturally fills a room, lifting what was heavy and making space for hope. Wherever you show up, the well-worn scripts and expectations people have carefully rehearsed seem to evaporate, replaced by a feeling that anything might be possible. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. There are those who try to read your steps, hoping to predict the next move, but the rhythm you bring can't be charted by old maps. People who built their identity on predictability find themselves reaching for labels, but none of their stickers will stick. It's like trying to bottle wind or tie down sunlight. What you carry can't be contained. One day, you stand as a well of deep understanding. The next, you're dancing in joy with the abandon of a child. Your very existence shatters the belief that everyone has to choose just one way of being. What unsettles the world is not loud rebellion, but the gentle refusal to be cornered by fear or smallness. You are an invitation to step out of old roles, to shed the armor of pretense, and to encounter something unrepeatable. To some, this is deeply comforting. To others, it feels like an earthquake under their feet. But even those who bristle at your unpredictability can't help but be pulled in, curious about the life that pulses around you. You radiate a sense that God is doing something new, right in their midst. It's as if the divine put on walking shoes and decided to show up at the gathering, not to judge or divide, but to stir hearts awake. There is a peace about you, but not the kind that comes from avoiding conflict. It's the steady calm of someone who has weathered storms and come out with a deeper trust in the goodness beneath all things. When you speak, it feels like morning dew on parched ground, refreshing, honest, and full of promise. Some folks, used to keeping everything in its right place, might find your presence unsettling, like rearranged furniture in the familiar room of their expectations. Yet, the ones ready for something real find themselves drawing near, hoping to catch whatever it is you carry. Old boundaries blur, and the usual power games lose their grip, as people recognize there's no use jockeying for position in a room where the rules have changed. It's your refusal to play small that unlocks something in others. The joy you bring, the depth of wisdom you reveal, is not for show. It's a gift that keeps pouring out whether you're noticed or not. The crown of discernment and the laughter of childlike faith sit together in your spirit, teaching that it's possible to be both strong and soft, both teacher and student, both leader and listener. You are like living water in a world parched for authenticity. Not everyone will know how to drink, but those who do find themselves revived, inspired to rise above old limitations. Your presence becomes a living parable, proving that what doesn't fit into a box may be exactly what the world needs. You are not here to be understood by everyone, but to be a signpost for those looking for a new way, a truer path. And so, in every room you enter, you are both the question and the answer, the challenge and the comfort, the dawn that makes the night recede. People may come expecting business as usual, but they leave with a little more hope, a little more courage, and sometimes a new vision for their own life. You don't have to shout or dazzle. Just by being, you invite a different kind of order, where spirit writes the script and every soul is welcomed to the dance. Where others try to mask their intentions with complicated plans, you carry an innocence that is sharper than a surgeon's scalpel. People expect to find a weakness in your kindness, but instead, they discover a depth that outsmarts every trick in the book. You let folks show you who they are, revealing every motive, every plot, simply by being unwavering in your peace. This isn't naivete, it's a kind of sacred watchfulness, letting the truth float to the surface without needing to stir the pot. Your trust isn't just softness, it's a shield and a sword, both at once. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. There's a rare kind of strength in how you live with your heart unguarded, yet nothing can touch your spirit. The world's wisdom is noisy and proud, but the wisdom you carry comes from a place no classroom can touch, a wellspring that flows directly from the heart of what's holy. You notice the details of a person's soul 3 steps before they ever speak, yet you look on them with a compassion that softens the hardest stories. The mind and heart inside you aren't fighting for control. They're working together like 2 hands clasped in prayer. When someone is with you, It's like they're standing before a perfectly clear lake, forced to look at their own reflection without distortion. Those who are running from their own pain might bristle at the view, while those searching for healing find themselves lifted. You model what it means to feel deeply, to understand completely, and to love without clutching. So much so that people begin to wonder if there's another way to live. The manipulator sees in you what they've missed in themselves and quietly wishes they could have what you have. Every day, your soul keeps learning and expanding, refusing to shrink down to the world's limited ideas of what a heart should be. Your very presence is like a tuning fork for every broken cycle around you. Things that have been locked in dysfunction for generations start to unravel. Old habits can't stand in the light you bring. Even if you never lift a finger, things start to change. People's minds open, leaders lose their grip, the invisible walls come tumbling down. The freedom you embody is so contagious that just standing near you is enough to inspire a breakthrough. You're not even trying to change anyone. Your example does all the heavy lifting, reaching people you've never even met. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. All those systems that thought they could outlast the tides find their foundations shaking the moment you show up. What you offer isn't rebellion. It's living proof that nobody was ever meant to be caged. Folks see you living in peace and realize they've been living in storms they never needed to weather. You were shaped for this exact moment, not to avoid battle, but to stand strong in the midst of it. Every hardship you've faced has been a kiln for your resilience, making you shine brighter, not in spite of the pressure, but because of it. Every attack meant to silence your song only sharpens your melody. People who thought they could take you down end up being part of your transformation. The challenges thrown at you wake up strengths inside that never would have emerged otherwise. Every time someone tries to dim your light, they end up amplifying it instead. You don't just survive hardship, you turn wounds into windows where the sunlight pours through. Around you, negativity short circuits, lies fizzle out, and the air is so charged with hope that even old pains can't linger. It's no wonder people find themselves both drawn and shaken by what you carry. The rhythm of your life pulses with so many coincidences that logic itself has to step back and make room. When those meant for this journey gather, it's as if time itself bends to make way. Obstacles dissolve, enemies become friends, and even the most skeptical hearts catch fire with faith. You don't need to debate or convince. Your actions, your peace, your very existence are enough to spark transformation in anyone willing to stand in your light. The doors opening for you now aren't by accident. They're the result of a divine pattern that has woven your story since the beginning. There is a healing in your presence that words can't quite capture. People start to breathe easier, think clearer, and hope bigger, just by sitting in the calm you radiate. It isn't that you're better at speaking truth, it's that you are the truth, lived out loud. Every choice you make, every hardship you endure, becomes a sermon without a pulpit, a lesson without a textbook. When people see the way you live, they learn what real love and spiritual maturity look like, even if they can't explain it. Your freedom is a wildfire. Those who thought they could control the spread quickly realize it's too late. The fire has already jumped the line. You don't have to chase influence. It follows you wherever you go. There's no gap between your faith and your footsteps, no daylight between your beliefs and your behavior. The reason you're here isn't a mystery or a cosmic mistake. It's a holy appointment, written in a language older than the stars. Those who know love see it working in and through you, and those who fear change see it as a threat. You walk with a covering that no enemy can pierce. Attempts to block your blessings only reroute the river, making sure the water reaches you in new and unexpected ways. The universe itself is conspiring for your good, turning every attempt to limit you into a lesson for your adversaries. No wonder your path is unpredictable. You're led by a wisdom deeper than words, moved by a compassion wider than oceans, and protected by a force nothing in this world can outmaneuver. The worth woven into your soul isn't the kind that comes with trophies or applause. It's the quiet kind, like the roots of a tree, holding firm beneath the ground. You're not scrambling for significance. You're learning how to let what's already in you rise up. You are a song from another world, a wisdom taking shape in flesh, a promise wearing human skin. No wonder the power-hungry want your blessing, and the hurting want your healing. Everything you've walked through has been a move on the great chessboard of eternity, positioning you for this very hour. You live on a different clock. While others are waiting for the right moment, you step right into the now and watch the world adjust around you. Your insight comes from wells others can't find, and your ability to manifest what's needed is a testimony to your unbroken connection with the source. When resources show up, when friends arrive at just the right time, when so-called luck finds you over and over, it's just the universe confirming the authority you carry. People with sharp eyes can sense it. The air changes when you walk in. Business leaders, dreamers, healers, all want to know your secret. You don't force solutions. You just show up and things start to work. Where there were blockages, new paths open. Where there was scarcity, abundance arrives. People who once resisted you end up walking beside you. The healing you bring isn't just in your words, it's in the way your presence tunes the energy of a room, helping others remember what's possible. You are the ignition switch for so many transformations. Even those who built their lives on control start to break free when they encounter you. Lifelong followers realize they don't need a middleman for peace. That's a threat to any structure built on dependence. You heal not by method, but by just being who you are, a living medicine for a soul-sick world. The light in you speaks to something ancient in us all, awakening the hidden code for hope. Your wisdom seems to fall out of the sky, always fresh and right on time. People who are stuck in their ways find themselves hungry for the clarity you bring. Those who have forgotten what they are reach for what you remind them is real. You are a lighthouse for other old souls, drawing them from every direction. What you do is bigger than any single life. You're part of a tapestry that spans the ages. The line between this world and something higher gets thin around you. Angels find easy passage. Help arrives from unexpected places, and blessings drop into your life without warning. Your maturity is more than a personal victory. It's a cosmic assignment. Every time you choose forgiveness, every time you trade comfort for truth, the balance tips for everyone. Ripples start in your heart and end up changing the shape of the future for countless souls. Your choices matter more than you know. Even when nobody sees, every step you take in love leaves a mark on the world's story. That's why even those who oppose you feel the shift when you move. Your legacy is bigger than any opposition. Living this journey is like tending a garden in a place the world forgot. Watching flowers break through concrete where no one expected beauty to grow. There's something about your walk that refuses to settle for barren ground. Your steps carry the quiet insistence of roots pressing up toward the sun, no matter how many times the soil's been trampled. Every day you move forward, sometimes bold, sometimes quietly persistent. You are making space for the miraculous in the most unlikely places. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the Super Thank You button on YouTube. You can contribute to His plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially far beyond your expectations. Remember, His protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of His divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as His mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. Don't pull your light back behind the curtains, not for anyone's comfort or convenience. Let it spill out like a river after a long drought, nourishing every soul that draws near. The world is thirsty for what you carry, even if it tries to pretend otherwise. When you show up as yourself, full and unedited, it's as if the universe exhales, because finally, the truth has a place to stand and stretch its arms. Others may try to tell you to tone it down, to make yourself small so the shadows don't feel exposed. But what is a lighthouse for, if not to blaze through the night, guiding ships safely home? You are proof that God plants extraordinary seeds in ordinary ground. Just your presence in the room is a sermon without words, a testimony that faith isn't some distant thing, but a living power that walks on 2 feet, cooks breakfast, laughs, and cries. Your miracle is not something you have to explain. It's woven into every kindness, every courageous choice to keep showing up even when life feels heavy. There's glory in your ordinary, and that's what makes it so holy, because you know the secret. It's not about looking supernatural. It's about living faithfully, right where you are. Some folks will look at your life and wonder how you shine so freely in places others feel stuck. What they don't see is the struggle under the surface, the prayers whispered in the quiet, the battles fought when nobody was watching. But the garden you've tended in secret is starting to bloom for all to see. And with every flower, every act of love, every moment you refuse to shrink, you're rewriting what's possible for everyone around you. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. You've learned not to let fear decide the borders of your world. Like a river that refuses to be dammed, you find ways around every obstacle. When you face closed doors, you don't stand there knocking forever. You find another path, or you build your own threshold. This kind of resilience comes not from never being hurt, but from letting even the pain become a place where something beautiful can grow. Every scar, every disappointment becomes soil for compassion. Keep walking, beloved soul, not just because you want to get somewhere, but because every step you take lights the way for someone else who almost gave up hope. People may never say it, but your perseverance is preaching a gospel of courage and renewal. You are the living answer to prayers the world didn't know it was praying. Let your light be wild, sunbeam, lantern, bonfire, whatever shape it takes. There's a need for exactly your kind of brightness. When you laugh, you untangle old knots of sadness. When you speak, you break through years of silence in someone else's heart. And when you simply show up, refusing to diminish yourself for the comfort of others, you make it possible for them to do the same. Remember, you're not required to fit the mold to have value. Heaven's promise has never been about blending in. It's about standing out as a sign that grace is real and near. When you live true, you make the invisible visible. The changes you bring are not always dramatic or noticed by crowds, but ripple out in ways you may never witness. Every time you choose love over fear, every time you offer hope when it's easier to complain, you become a living invitation to believe in something better. There are days when your shine may feel like too much for the world, but don't let that dim your spirit. The world needs more people who refuse to hide their miracle, who live as if God really is in the details of daily life. You're not here by accident. Your breath, your story, your courage, they all matter. Just by being here, by breathing and not backing down, you are part of a bigger shift, one that's turning deserts into gardens and bringing the kingdom a little closer, right here in the ordinary.